Tonight on News Channel 12 Live at 6, backlash after a recent article on homelessness, why some WKU students are upset.
Also, we'll check out some students getting their hands dirty in a shop on campus.
Rain, rain, go away, or will you stay another day? We'll track the rainy setup here in just a moment.
This is News Channel 12 Live at 6, where commitment makes the difference.
Good evening. For News Channel 12 Live at 6, I'm Katherine Gardner.
And I'm Corey McCauley. Thank you for joining us.
To start off the show tonight, we're going to go ahead straight into weather with Chris Reese. Now, Chris, please tell me, like you said, rain, rain, is it really going away?
I wish I could say that it was. It'll go away for a moment, but it's going to come back as it always seems to do. And a lot of us really don't want to deal with any more rain because of all of the rain that we had already today, especially walking up the hill. The radar was very active, especially as more in the way of showers and thunderstorms did begin to push on through here. This is probably what got a lot of us walking up the hill, especially if you were not prepared. This batch of very heavy rain tracked right out of Tennessee and into the Bowling Green area, and as it did so, it brought very hefty rainfall totals as it came through, and a lot of us really felt the drench, and we do have more rain on the way. This is all associated with the remnants of Hurricane Patricia. As she came through, she dumped a lot of water on the Gulf of Mexico, and now she's dumping a lot of water on us. So here's Patricia. She's going to leave. That is the good news, and we're going to be talking about that here in a couple of minutes. But this cold front that you see right across here, this band of showers rather, that is our cold front. She'll be interacting with Patricia as we go through the next couple of days, and she'll bring some changes and some drier weather. So coming up here in a few minutes, we're going to talk more about the heavy rain that we do have at least tonight, our next shot at drying out, and then we'll go ahead and iron out the trick-or-treat forecast. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Chris. WKU's former Director of Annual Leadership of Annual Giving is in the hot seat. Adam Ryder resigned over a week ago, but now the reason why he resigned is surfacing. He was audited in early September for a misuse of university funds. The monetary value that Ryder used is estimated at $1,000 to $4,999. The case details allege that Ryder possibly used the money for unnecessary business trips. Questions arise after travel vouchers were found with forged signatures in the placeholder of the director's approval. Ryder resigned on October 16th.
A recent article about homelessness and panhandling has sparked some WKU students to take a stand. Saturday, students and supporters took to Fountain Square Park to bring awareness to homelessness in Bowling Green. This mission is to break the stigma and remove a tone of dehumanization against individuals in a state of homelessness. An article on the Bowling Green Daily News speaks about the growing problem of homelessness and panhandling in Fountain Square Park. Advocates want to shift the perspective of homelessness away from that presented in the article.
Especially with this article, it kind of presented these incidences as reflective of the entire population of people experiencing homelessness. And I think that is just such an incorrect way to approach it, because these are human beings that have completely different lives, completely different situations that they are in right now, that they have been in. Their pasts are obviously different. You know, they're human beings, they're complex.
Kentucky has more than 5,000 homeless people, and with the weather quickly changing, conditions may get dangerous for people who are without a shelter.
The seasons are changing and leaves are falling, but flowers are in full bloom in the WKU Floral Shop. Reporter Karen Isert takes us there to show us the sights and sounds of fall.
Workers that work here, and then for our courses we have practicum hours where students get that hands-on experience, get to work with that plant material and know how to decompose it and what are the ways to get rid of it, and also how to make it beautiful and help people enjoy the plants and the flowers like we do.
Anything from the fun stuff, which is getting to make designs like for orders or filling the cooler.
We have something very unique here where students are able to have this kind of experience.
And then I get here and I get to do it every day for my job. And sometimes it wears you out, but when you're delivering and if you made an arrangement or whatever, and you get to see the reaction on the person's face and they actually smile or laugh.
WKU is home to the only private honors college in Kentucky. Now, the college is charging students to be a part of the program. The Honors College admission book states that students will pay per semester. As a freshman, students are required to pay $160. As a sophomore, $140. Junior year, $120, and senior year, $100. The Honors College has not returned our calls regarding the fees. Now keeping it at the home on the hill, reporter John Wooten gives us a look at what it's like for a professor to lead a double life.
It's not every day you find out one of your college professors is also a working musician, but here at WKU it becomes a reality if you take a class with Dr. Tom Hundley. As a creative writing professor and member of local Bowling Green band Night of the Living Dead Poets Society, Dr. Tom is constantly juggling his two passions in life, and sometimes they overlap with one another.
Well, professors have more flexible schedules than a lot of people, so that's good. You know, if I have to stay up late for a show, most of the time I can sleep in and recover, and as long as I get my work done, which is a lot of work, I kind of set my own hours, so that's helpful.
Dr. Tom often sees the students at the shows he plays around town, and he's put a lot of thought into how it affects the student-teacher relationship.
I love seeing my students out at shows. I go to a lot of other band shows, and a bunch of my students have been in bands, so I love seeing them play. So I think at first when I ran into students at clubs and stuff, sometimes it was awkward. They were wondering what I was doing there. It's just a little unusual to run into a professor when you're out on a Thursday night drinking and seeing your favorite band or whatever. But I think people got used to it. Everybody knows that I play in bands.
Dr. Tom has also published several books of his poetry.
I've been writing poems for 30 years, and I've just been playing music for 5.5 years. So I'll tell you what it does. It makes me think like a beginner, you know, so it helps me relate to my students more, my beginning and intermediate students.
You know, Corey, I wish I was that musically inclined.
Yeah, back in the day, I used to play baritone saxophone, but I can tell from this story he's a lot more talented than I was. Coming up on News Channel 12 live at 6, a look at the damage from Hurricane Patricia. Saturday morning, when it was less rainy than it is now, a WKU fraternity hosted their annual charity event. Reporter Devin Hall takes us to the park.
Western students woke up very early Saturday morning to run through paint for one special cause.
So we're all here. This is an effort to raise awareness for Alzheimer's, and this is a way to support the research. Alzheimer's disease is something that affects so many families in Bowling Green, even a lot of members of our fraternity, and it's really important for all members of the community to get out here just to support this. It's really encouraging to see not only just other sororities here, but also other fraternities that we're all working together for this common cause.
Once the race began, students charged through the open fields of Kariakis Park. WKU fraternity Phi Gamma Delta, or Fiji, organizes a race every year called the Purple Run as their philanthropy event.
Well, it's to end Alzheimer's. That's our philanthropy. And so I have a lot of family who have Alzheimer's.
This is the 4th year for this run in Bowling Green, with members of the fraternity participating all 4 years. Several WKU students like Angela Donaldson have a personal connection to this event.
And my grandfather had Alzheimer's, and he was in World War II, and I lost him a couple years ago, and I just started this last year with my fellow sisters.
With purple being the official color of Alzheimer's, it was only fitting for WKU students to throw purple at the Purple Run.
We're here because Alzheimer's was discovered in 1901, and 114 years later in 2015, we can't do anything today versus someone that has Alzheimer's back then. That's the reason we're here. That's the reason we raise money. That's the reason we ride our bikes across the country.
And it's just awful. I can't even imagine losing your memories, because, I mean, that's your life in a way. So yeah, we're all here. We get together with the community and do this run every year. This is our 4th year doing it.
It's just a great time. I mean, honestly, just to come out and to hang with the community and to fight against Alzheimer's and just have a good time.
Over 100 people showed up to race in this special event. The Alzheimer's Association reports that the number of people living with dementia is set to skyrocket to 76 million within the next 15 years. If you want to learn more and join the fight to end this disease, visit alzheimers.com.
Well, WKU Housing and Residence Live and WellU is hosting their annual Zombie Walk. Starting at 5:30, students are welcome to come get their zombie makeup done, enjoy some zombie snacks, and take photos at the selfie station. The walk is now located at the Preston Walking Track due to the rain. HRL and WellU invite you to come dressed to ingest.
As Halloween approaches, a group on campus wants you to be aware of your costume. The Native Student Association started the campaign, "We Are Not a Costume," to inform students about what wearing stereotypical costumes can do to a culture. While they're an organization for Native Americans, the campaign is also emphasizing other ethnicities and cultures like African American and foreign cultures. Katie Reuter is the president of the Native Student Organization and says that seeing the costumes on Halloween almost feels like a slap in the face to her heritage.
I mean, this is part of our identity. You wouldn't want any part of your identity mocked or belittled. Whether that's your, sexual orientation, your race, your religion, these things are sacred to people, and you don't want those, mocked, belittled.
Sticking with the festive Halloween holiday, there are plenty of events for families to attend this weekend. Starting Thursday, running through Saturday, families can see Dracula at X-Claim, sponsored by Woohoo 107. The Beaver FM is hosting a Halloween party Saturday night. Also, to start your Halloween morning off right, families can head to the Gott Fire Department for their annual pancake breakfast. Trick-or-treating for the kids in Bowling Green starts Saturday evening at 4 and ends at 7. News Channel 12 wants to remind you to stay safe, and to be careful. Coming up next in weather, how long will the rain last? We'll have the answer for you.
And later in sports, WKU soccer gears up to kick out their season.
Well, you guys, I'm not going to lie. I had to kind of touch my hair up just a little bit before I went on set. That rain today was brutal.
Yeah, I was walking around with my umbrella, and I had to hold on pretty tight because it was gusty out there. Chris, tell us, how long will it last?
Well, the rain is going to last for a little while longer, and so will the wind gusts. In fact, the wind gusts are going to get a little bit worse. PFT Cam just really highlights how dreary of an evening it is out there. Campus is lit up right now as the sun is setting and the rain continues to come down. The radar is also remaining lit up with very heavy rainfall coming through Bowling Green. I like to point this out. Earlier today, we did have some very heavy rainfall coming through here. Right here, the yellows, those pushed right on through. Earlier in the day, a lot of you didn't have your umbrellas walking up the hill, and this right here is what got us pretty soaking wet. It looks like things are starting to dry out when you go south towards Nashville, but looks can be deceiving. We do have more rain coming out of Alabama and Tuscaloosa. I also would like to point out southwestern Tennessee. Notice how earlier in the day it looks like it's breaking up, but more rain continues to push on through as those storm showers develop going on through the rest of the day, and we're going to have more storms going on tonight, so we will want to keep an eye on that. That's just the price you pay for cooler temperatures around this time of the year. 58 in Nashville, a little bit warmer towards Paducah, 61 degrees, 59 in Owensboro. Here in Bowling Green, 56 degrees, and the heavy rain does continue to come down. That dew point is at 54 with winds out of the north at 9 miles per hour. Those winds have been a little bit gusty, and they've really made temperatures feel a little worse out there in terms of wind and rain. You get really wet, and then it's windy, and that's just a miserable feeling. I hate to announce this, but that's going to keep on going for at least tonight before showers begin to break up. Temperatures are also going to warm into the 60s during the overnight hours, but we do get a little bit of thunder in the action as a line of thunderstorms comes through here, and that should be around between midnight and your morning time frame. So as you're walking up the hill, you might actually hear some thunder before that scatters out to just some off and on showers during the day. So as we focus and break down the forecast, here's the main things to be on the watch for. We do have very heavy rains in place today. Then we'll get a very small break in the action before Halloween starts to look even wet as well. So that'll be something to keep an eye on. Here's how things are going to set up. This very windy low is from Patricia, and this cold front is going to begin to interact with it. As Patricia moves on to the north, this cold front is going to interact, bringing more in the way of showers before taking our showers onto the east. So by tomorrow, around the evening time, around dinner, we're actually going to start to see those showers finally begin to move on out, but not before very heavy rainfall, 2 to 3 inches to locally higher amounts. And then the yellows, a general 1 to 2 inches, but once again, very heavy rainfall can be expected across the state of Kentucky. 61 degrees tonight with off and on showers. Like I said, we may get in on a little bit of the thunder action later on tonight. Tomorrow, rain and thunder early, but we start to get a little more on the cloudy side for the evening. A high right up there in the upper 60s, but those winds are going to be very gusty, gusting to 23 to 25 miles per hour. So a very windy day for those of you with those umbrellas. Check this out. Thursday and Friday, we actually get to dry out. So Catherine, Corey, you might get luck with some dry time. However, if you're trick-or-treating Saturday night, keep an eye on the weather because we could have more in the way of rainfall leading into Sunday before we actually warm into the 70s for next week.
Thanks, Chris. Now sticking with the weather and the rain, last Friday, the strongest hurricane ever recorded crashed into the Pacific coastline of Mexico, traveling into Texas. Here we have footage from Saturday's storm in Galveston, Texas. Residents across Texas have seen up to 20 inches of rain over the past few days. The combination of rain and winds so forceful, it not only washed away cars, but also derailed a freight train Saturday morning. Many are fighting to gain hope after the devastation. Authorities reported a homeless man was swept away in hopes of rescuing his dog. While the dog has been safely found, the man is now missing.
Yesterday, many lives were lost when disaster struck in South Asia. A 7.5 magnitude earthquake flattened thousands of buildings in Afghanistan and surrounding countries. Here you can see just how far the earthquake reached. The epicenter was located at the edge of Afghanistan, but the surrounding countries felt the shock as well. The earthquake shook up Afghanistan's mountainous Hindu region yesterday, but here you can see the significant damage that occurred in Pakistan as well. There are a total of 345 fatalities, with 115 of those being in Afghanistan. Injuries are at a total of 1,800. Along with the deaths and injuries, officials have identified more than 4,000 homes destroyed as a result of the quake. Coming up after the break, Matt Stewart joins us with a preview of sports.
It was a pretty busy weekend here on the Hill as the volleyball team added on to their already impressive winning streak. The soccer team is beginning to wrap up their season, and Brandon Dowdy and the Tops took a trip down to the Bayou to take on LSU. It's time for sports. Let's get started. Once again this weekend, Hudson ladies were back at it in Diddle. This time, Jessica Lucas and company hosted UAB, and it was business as usual. They dominated. 3 sets is all it took for the Lady Tops to take down the Blazers. The ladies used contributions from all over, relying on the heavy-hitting duo of Sydney Engel and Noelle Langenkamp to lead the ladies to another victory. The ladies would sweep UAB in 3 sets. Travis Hudson and company didn't have much rest after sweeping UAB, as they were back on their home court Sunday afternoon to take on the Owls of FAU. And for the 17th consecutive time, they won again. The Tops matched a season high of 9 service aces. Senior Rachel Engel served up a career-high 5 aces, and junior Georgia O'Connell delivered 2 of her own. At the net, the group of Kavanaugh, Langenkamp, Bodway, and freshman Rachel Anderson led the way for the Tops. The ladies are back on the road again this weekend. While we continue to highlight the volleyball ladies, they're not the only ones coming up on crunch time. The soccer team had 2 games remaining for their season heading into the weekend. One of them including a matchup with the Thundering Herd of Marshall. The ladies would hold Marshall in check until the final 10 minutes of play Friday, when the green and white would punch in 2 goals to win it 2-0. The loss came despite the Tops outshooting the Herd 15-10. With the defeat, the ladies now stand at 8-5-4 and 4-3-2 in conference play. WKU wraps up their season Thursday against FAU. Switching gears to the gridiron, we're halfway into the NFL regular season, and boy, is it special. 5 teams remain undefeated going into Week 8. That's the most ever this deep into the season since the 1970 merger. The Patriots lead the AFC East with a 6-0 record after Tom Brady lifted them to a 30-23 win over the Jets on Sunday. The Packers sit at 6-0 heading into their bye week after stopping San Diego on 4th and goal with 3 minutes to go last week. Peyton Manning and the Broncos also come in with 6 wins, looking forward to a much anticipated matchup with Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers. The Panthers and the Bengals round out the group of undefeated teams. That's all for sports. Join Paige Hagan and Lexi Ratterman Thursday at 6 on the Extra Point to get the Western LSU game highlights and plenty more. Back to you guys at the desk.
Coming up, a Bowling Green tradition, how furry citizens can now participate in Halloween.
And Chris Reese is going to have one last final weather.
A few Bowling Green residents dressed up with their furry friends. The Bowling Green Warren County Humane Society held their 4th annual Strut Their Mutt event this past Saturday.
I can't say enough for them. And anybody that supports them is great. You know, like we had some dogs here that were adopted from the Humane Society. And so it was a good thing.
A Slimer doggy. A Slimer doggy. This is our 4th annual. I kind of thought of it, got some ideas online, and then just adapted it to our community and made it something that we thought would be worthwhile and a great fundraiser for the Bowling Green Warren County Humane Society.
He's a sailor, and we're on shore leave.
We've got a lot of special needs animals right now. Our sick and injured fund is very, very low. We get sick and injured animals all the time, and the money that we raise here today is really going to help us afford their vet bills.
Raised more than $700 this weekend, but according to the event coordinators, it was a little short of what they raised last year, possibly due to the rain.
Well, Chris Reese joins us one last time for the final weather. Any news?
Well, the news continues to remain the same. We're going to be very wet over the next day and some change before we do finally get to dry out a little bit. The 7-day forecast keeps a lot of the dry weather in for Thursday and Friday before more rain arrives Halloween night. So if you're trick-or-treating, take that umbrella with you just in case.
All right, that's all the time we have for tonight. Thanks for making it our source for news.
Have a spectacular and safe Halloween.